All right, on to part two. So in part two here, what we're going to do is take a look first at lists. So we've got a couple of paragraphs here, but a lot of times these days people like to organize information in the form of a list, bullet points, right? So I'll just go. Let's see. I'll go in here after this paragraph just to give some space to where we're going to put a list. So the tag for a list, there's two kinds. Well, there's more than two. There's actually three kinds, but we'll go with two kinds. The first kind is called UL, and UL stands for unnumbered list, which is basically a bulleted list. And so within the UL, each list item has the tag LI, list item, and that is a lowercase l, list item. A lot of students will make the mistake of thinking this is the number one. It kind of looks like the number one. So that's not a one, that's an L, list item. So this will be like item one. And then you can close list item. And then watch me be super lazy. I'm going to take this list item and I'm going to paste it in a bunch of times. Okay. And then I'm going to change this to item 2, item 3, item 4. Oop, I messed that one up. Undo. Item 4 and item 5. And then, for some reason, this is the most missed thing in this assignment. Don't forget to close the list. So we started with UL. We got to close with /UL to close the list. Okay, so this is a unnumbered list. If we say save and then refresh our page, here's our list. List item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll notice wherever there was a LI list item, it gives us a bullet. The UL, it does two things. It will indent the list, and what was the other thing of the two things? Yeah, I don't remember. So anyway, that's what a list looks like, an unnumbered list. Now, there are some places where you can tweak it a little bit using only HTML. So if you notice, and it's kind of tiny to notice, so I'll zoom in here a little bit. If you notice these little bullets right here, they're called discs. So they're a filled circle, right? So if you wanted to, and this is really a minor thing, but if you wanted to, you could break into your UL tag and give an attribute, which is type, and you can have type equals circle. So if we put type equals circle and refresh the page, now notice that you've got circles that are not filled. So that's the difference between a circle and a disc. And then if you want to get really crazy, you could put in a square. Save your changes, and now the bullets are squares. So those are some of the things you can do with attributes in a UL, unnumbered list. All right, for the time being, let's get rid of this attribute. And you know what? I'll leave it back in there. I was going to show you a different kind of list, but instead let's do both kinds. So I'm going to take this UL, and I copied it and pasted it. So now I have two instances of the UL. All right, now in the second instance, let's get rid of the type. And one thing I wanted to show you here is if I wanted this to be, instead of a bulleted list, if I wanted it to be a numbered list, then I would just change this UL to an OL. OL stands for ordered list. Ordered list. And an ordered list is the same, it means a numbered list, right? So if we say save and refresh our page, now we've got our unnumbered list and our numbered list. And I can zoom back out here. All right, so we've got our numbered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the difference between an unnumbered list and an ordered list. Now, one other thing that I want to show you is how you can set some characteristics here. And this can be pretty helpful. So by default, it's going to start the numbering with 1. Well, what if for some reason I didn't want it to start with 1? I can actually set my start anywhere I want. So I can start with number 23 if I want. And then when we refresh this page, I've got 23 through 27. Okay, so you can start your numbering wherever you want. Another thing you can do is you can also add a type. And now your options for type are much greater because you can actually change up your alphabet. So right now we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's say instead of Arabic numerals, I wanted Roman numerals. I can put a capital I in here and save it and refresh. And now I've got Roman numerals. Okay, and this one doesn't actually even fit on the screen. I'm gonna have to change my indent there to get that to fit on the screen. But you got Roman numerals. And if I wanted lowercase Roman numerals, I can put in a lowercase I. Refresh, and now I've got lowercase Roman numerals. Or if I wanted them to be alphabetical, I could put in the letter A for A in the alphabet, and then refresh the page. And now I'm alphabetical. But I started with number 23, so that's kind of weird. Here, let's get rid of the start for a second. And save. And refresh. And now I've got A, B, C, D, E, right? All right, then I can also do lowercase a. Okay, lowercase a, B, C, D, E. So there's just a bunch of different options that you have with an unnumbered list. You don't need to do this particular next step for your assignment, but I'm going to show you since I'm in here. One thing you can do is mix and match these a little bit, right? So I could take an entire list and then embedded inside one of these items, I could paste an entire another list. And I know this looks strange. Bear with me for a second here. Oops, I grabbed too much. Okay, that's indented way too much. But what I wanted to show is that you can put a list within a list. I'm going to get this here in a second. There we go. So you can put a list within a list. Okay, so then if this is, let's say, alphabetical, but then you need to change it to lowercase Roman numerals, you can say save and refresh. And now you've got something that kind of looks like an outline. So I probably shouldn't have that list item in there. Get rid of that one. All right, so now you have something that kind of looks like an outline. You've got item A, item B, and then within item B, you've got some item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so by alternating alphabet, Arabic numerals, Roman numerals, uppercase, lowercase, and embedding lists within lists, you can actually make a pretty robust outline using this methodology. Whenever you start a new list inside a list, it will indent significantly so you can maintain the outline through indentation as well as the numbers. All right, now I told you I wasn't going to make you do that, so let me get rid of that. And we'll put this back into some kind of working order. Let's get a start back in here. We'll say start equals 10. All right, just so that you can practice using these attributes. And so one last peek. All right, now I've got alphabetical J through N, and so my start number has changed and my alphabet type has changed. So I don't care if this is Roman numerals or Arabic numerals or whatever, but change it to something so you can get practice with that attribute. Alrighty. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you in this particular video. I wanted to show you about lists. I'm going to stop this video here. We're going to have one more video that follows with just a few more miscellaneous text styling tags.